That was one of the things I felt when I was talking about anxiety. Like, I feel like nobody really spoke about that. Like you said, I didn't know it was a thing, postnatal anxiety.
It makes it easier for them if they know that it is, say, every month you're getting that. That's 100% related to your period and your cycle. So.
Hey, I'm Katie J, and welcome to Young Scot's new This Is How I Feel podcast, where we talk to guests who've grown up or live in Scotland about their experience and how they find themselves in the world we're in today. Now, in each episode, we'll tackle a different topic with a brand new guest. And today, we've got two. This is so exciting. We've had to remodel the set and everything, but it's worth it for these girls. Amy Moore and Kirsten Cameron from Aquarius Creative. Now, Amy and Kirsten are the founders of Aquarius Creative, Scotland's largest influencer agency, which you might know off the telly from BBC Scotland series The Agency Unfiltered, which is so good, by the way. The company was set up in 2020 and manages some of Scotland's biggest influencers. But today we're going to be talking about two slightly different topics related to women's health and mental health. So there's a lot to talk about. But firstly, thank you so much, girls, for coming in.
Thanks for having
us. We're excited, aren't we?
Yeah. It's a nice wee setup. We've never had a podcast looking this nice, so it's exciting for us.
Well, that means a lot coming from you guys because I've seen your office and my goodness, it's amazing.
It
looks so good.
We're actually grown out of the office now. Like, we need a new office. We're thinking, how are we going to beat the look of that?
It's just stunning. It is stunning. And was it intentionally selling sunset vibes or?
You know what? It wasn't, but everyone says that now. It's the space, but we have kind of tried to rejig it, but it looks best selling sunset vibes.
Oh, it looks brilliant. It looks even better on the telly, which we'll get onto.
Yep.
But firstly, this seems like a simple one, but it is a question that we ask every single guest that comes on the podcast. And sometimes it's a bit more of a thinker than you'd first anticipate. How are you feeling today?
To be honest, I had a sickness bug all day yesterday and I was like, oh my God, I can't cancel this morning. So I'm not feeling my best, but yeah, I wouldn't miss it. I was excited to do this, but I'm feeling fine now.
Okay, well, you are closest to the door if there's an emergency.
No, I'm fine. I've not been sick in about 12 hours, so I'm fine.
Kirsten, stop. That's awful.
That's what happens when you have a baby, so you catch everything and anything.
I know, I was going to say, did you get it from the wee one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I've had about 4 nights with no sleep, really, so I'm powering through.
Oh, well, you couldn't tell from looking at you. Amy, have you also been through similar trauma this week?
No, actually, I've had a good week. It was my birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday.
I came into work yesterday and Kirsten had got me a massage to chill out for an hour. So it was very nice.
Okay, so how do we get a job?
I know.
That's brilliant.
It was really nice.
But then also, was it weird trying to be zen or whatever, looking out over the girls being like, how's that campaign going?
Well, she actually chucked them out and sent them to Costa for an hour.
She said, go and get a Costa, gals, so she could fully relax.
Bless.
So it was really nice. It was strange kind of having to strip down in your own work, but I locked the door.
You've never done that before, no?
No. But I locked the door and it was very peaceful and it was really relaxing. So yeah, it was
I'm glad you
great day after. Yeah,
I know. I was like, lock the door, get some nice zen tunes on.
Nice start to the week.
Beautiful. That's the perfect birthday in my opinion, just super chill. Although I suppose in your line of work as well, I'm on a tangent now thinking about stripping off, which is weird. But I see the girls out and about filming content. They must be so used to just getting changed in the back of a car or like random.
Yeah, they pack loads of clothes for the one day and just strip off in the car and they're not shy, are they?
No, not shy at all. And they're used to just getting changed, even if it's like changing a top under a jacket in the middle of the street. Yeah, they'll do anything for the content.
Which is quite incredible.
Yeah.
The dedication.
I know, especially right now when it's freezing outside. I'm like,
totally that, exactly. You wouldn't catch me.
No, it would be me.
Now we're going to be talking about two different topics in this episode. So firstly, Kirsten, we're going to chat to you, and you've been so open about this. Both of you actually have, about these different kind of huge parts of your life now. Kirsten, postnatal anxiety, which you covered in the brilliant new series of The Agency Unfiltered. Now, you had little baby AC back in 2022.
Yep.
Congratulations.
She's 1.5 now. Yeah, 1.5.
And we all followed that journey.
Yes, I know.
Which must feel bizarre.
Yes, it is bizarre. Like, she gets, like, say if we're on a night out, people are like, oh my God, AC, like, how cute is she? Like, she gets talked about more than the girls when we're out, doesn't she? So,
she is
she's so cute.
Gorgeous.
She's so cute.
Yeah, she's so cute. She's got a wee personality now. Like,
she's hilarious.
Too cute.
Cute. So cute. I know. Insert a clip of Acey just doing her thing. It's the eyelashes. Do people say that to you?
Yeah, all the time. I've not even got those eyelashes. I'm like, how have you got a set like that? Like,
you need to go and get the fake
I know,
ones.
I get the fake ones, and she'd be saving a fortune.
Maybe she's born with it. But you have been really candid, especially in the second series there, about new motherhood and all the kind of highs and lows that entails, and postnatal anxiety, which I don't know if I even realised was a thing. I knew about postnatal depression. Can you tell us a little bit about receiving that diagnosis and what went on?
Yeah, so what happened was when I had Acey, I was like, just being like so overreactive in my head. Like, I would just think the worst out of any situation, like the worst possible outcome. And I was like, this is really not like me. Like, the only time perhaps I even got anxiety before is if I was going on a flight or something. I'd be like,
right,
that's the only way I could relate it to. I'm not really an anxiety type of person. I don't really cry a lot. Like, you probably won't believe me if you watch the show, but I'm not a big crier.
Well, no, we know who the crier is.
So I felt like it was all so new to me, this feeling. And to be honest, at the start, I was a bit embarrassed to share it, because I was like, why? I'm a new mum. Why am I feeling like this? Like, I would be scared to like do certain things, or I'd be scared to like pick her up in the night in case I dropped her. And it got to the point where I actually couldn't sleep at night. Like, I would be awake the full night, and I was like, what do I do here to make this feel better? I was too embarrassed to tell anyone. Then luckily, like, my sister's a midwife, so she deals with a lot of these situations kind of herself, and I kind of sat down and spoke to her about it, and she was like, I think you need to go to the doctors about this. But even that, I was like, how am I going to even say that to the doctor? I was like, I feel like too embarrassed to even bring it up. And then I went into the doctor, and as soon as I got in and sat down, I just started crying so much, and she was like, this is like normal, like, please don't think you're the only kind of woman out there that's feeling this way. Like, the reason you get these anxieties and are so worried is because you care so much.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, when she said it's because you care so much, it kind of made me think a little different in my head. So yeah, that was the first step. Like, the first step in making me feel better was definitely going to the doctors and speaking about it.
Which is a big first step.
Yeah.
Especially if you have rationalised any feelings of anxiety before as being situational, right? You said getting a flight, or, I mean, in your line of work, guys, it's always like fast paced on to the next weird and wonderful thing. So you probably haven't even had time to sit and take stock of what could happen.
Yeah.
Do you think must be very surreal for this to happen at the point in your life where you're like, got away without that one?
Yeah, like, it is, it's mad. Like, we don't really get anxiety for work. Like, we get stressed about maybe an event that we're doing, or waiting on a deal getting signed off, or things like that. But it was hard me then not bringing that anxiety into the workplace, because nobody in this kind of sector has a baby yet. I'm probably one of the first in this kind of influence and social media world, because it's all quite a new industry. So I felt like I didn't want to say it to anyone because they wouldn't understand, and it was just a bit of a confusing time at the start.
Amy, did you notice a shift? Because this is your best mate and your, business partner. You probably know each other better than even your partners know you. So did you notice a shift?
Yeah, to be honest, you told me quite early on, before it was kind of like spoken about maybe in work or anything like that. And at that time, your mum was coming through quite a lot. And I remember there was a time you were even scared to say to Adam as well.
Yeah. I just felt like people would think I was crazy, because I would get these bad intrusive thoughts that I would drop her. Like, or I remember when we went to Amy's house in Ibiza, like, it's quite up high, and I'd be so worried in case, like, it sounds so ridiculous to even say it out loud, but I couldn't sleep at night when I was in Ibiza because I thought she would fall out the window. Like, that's just how my brain would go, and I was like, I can't say that out loud to people. Like, that sounds crazy. So I'd lie awake, and then one night I was like, I had to come through and wake Amy up, and I was like, I can't sleep, I can't do this. Like, and overthinking and getting so worried. So
you're torturing yourself.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So when you did go to the doctor, what was the advice that you were given, and how have you moved past it, or tried to, work around these feelings and sort of maybe convince yourself that she's not going to fall out the window? Which I know, again,
it sounds silly, doesn't it, when you say it out loud? Like, so I was trying to explain something to the doctor, and she was like, do you want to go on to medication? And I was like, I don't really want to go down that route. And then I went home and looked on TikTok and looked at it all, and it totally put me off doing anything like that. So she was like,
a dangerous thing to do.
Why is my source TikTok? It's stupid.
Oh, it's everybody's source for everything. Like, want to make a salad? Yeah.
TikTok.
Change your medication? Yeah.
I was like, and then I just got myself worked up, and I was like, no, I think I would rather just speak to someone.
Okay.
And there's an amazing group in town. It's called Bluebell Perinatal, I think, and they offer support for mums and focus on like postnatal anxiety, depression, and they actually offer free support, but it's a kind of a longer waiting list. So I paid for mine, but there is that support there for mums out there who are looking for help. But what I would say is, see, even when I was walking into that place, it changed my mind. It not changed my mind when I walked into the therapy. Like, it is even a switch then, because you know you're going to get help, so you start feeling better the minute you walk through the door.
Yeah. And, you know, so much of what you guys do is about building communities, and those communities, you know, often do exist online or, you know, with the influencers, I'm thinking. And interesting that you say that you felt quite isolated, despite the fact that you have built this, you know, wonderful kind of environment around you where it is girls supporting girls, and it's such a powerful thing. Was this you finding like a new tribe of people who get what you're going through as well? Because how many mums have gone through that course that maybe don't have other people that get it?
I know, like, see, since the shows came out and we've discussed that, like the amount of DMs I've got so many nice messages from mum. Like, some of them are actually making me cry, because they were like, you've pushed me to go and get this support, like thank you so much. And I feel like if we can help people that are going through that, it's really helpful. But I guess as time goes on, there'll be more mums in this kind of environment. I just didn't want to like speak to people in the office and stuff about it, because they wouldn't get it. They're not mums. Like,
do you know, not even that. I think that there's still very much in all workplaces, and you know, although people say, you know, I've done a course, I'm a mental health first aider, there's still a stigma there that's really tough to penetrate. And there's that kind of professional kind of veneer that you want to put up, where it's like, I am almost superhuman. I am just here to do the business, and I don't want to discuss it, which is fine if that works for you. But again, because you've kind of dismantled those boundaries and you guys are all pals and whatever, it probably felt more unnatural for you to keep that in.
Yeah, like, I guess I did just keep it all in. And like, sometimes I would just go and cry in the toilet and stuff like that and work myself up. But I wish I just spoke to people. Like, that is the best bit of advice, like speaking out loud about it and saying how you feel. Like, even when the show came out, loads of folk texted me and was like, I didn't know, like, some of my close friends, I didn't know you were going through that. But I guess like the best piece of advice I can say is definitely speak about how you're feeling out loud.
And now aside from this week where you've both been quite unwell, you're both thriving.
Yeah, I feel so much better now. Like, I feel like I've turned a page. She's like over a year old now, and I would like to help people in some way, but I just don't know. There's something I would like to work on, but I don't know. I just want to help people that are going through that. I wasted so much of ACE's first year being like anxious, and if I spoke about it earlier or I knew other mums were feeling this way, then I would have helped me. So I just would like to help people.
And you guys are undoubtedly doing that. I think that when people see, oh, there's a new show on BBC iPlayer and it's about influencers, you know, a lot of people who are so far off the mark, by the way, because the show is brilliant and it does cover so much more. A lot of people would come at it and go, right, well, we get it, they post on Instagram. You guys have covered serious topics, between Abby going through everything she went through with the kind of fraud. I mean, this is a big spoiler, guys, and I'm sorry. With that, and everyone's individual real life, moving house, going through real stuff. You know, we're really getting a close lens of that. You being so open about being a new mum and everything that you went through. And Amy talking about something really close to my heart that you have gone through as well. Endometriosis.
Yeah.
That's a big one as well to talk about.
I know. I think I was a bit nervous to talk about that as well. It's like talking about your health, but at the end of the day, when I was first going through all of that, I was only 17 and I didn't have a clue what it was. So I thought, well, if there's other people who were like me 7 years ago, if I can help them, then that obviously means a lot as well.
Yeah. Big topic. So that's the thing. And it's so all those people who maybe wrote it off as just, girls going out taking pictures, that's what we're going to be watching. People must have got quite a shock actually when they sat down and they realised, whoa, I completely misjudged this one.
I know that was important for us to show that side of it as well, because we didn't want it to kind of confirm what everyone thought about influencers. All we do is go out and pose and we're the perfect image. Like, we wanted to show the kind of complete opposite of that, and that we actually all are real people as well. There's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes, and there's a lot more feelings than what you see through just a photo online.
And I think like what was all portrayed on the show at that time, it's all real. Like I didn't think I would go into it talking about my anxiety, but obviously I was crying so much and I was feeling that way. I was like, I can't not discuss it because people will be like, is she all right? Like, and it's like the same for you and Abby. Like you started getting those pains during filming, and then Abby, obviously that was a big topic for her. So like it all just comes up when we're filming, like.
And that's what people respond to.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because all the girls are stunning. You guys included in this.
Thank you.
And and every time you see, even when you sat down there, I went, oh, girls, your outfit's lovely. You know, we do that, obviously, but it's the real person that you're actually in it for.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
So it's so vital, and it's really important to kind of stick it to the ones who try and trivialise it, because it's human beings living their lives at the end of the day. Amy, I understand what you're going through on such a fundamental basis because I've got it as well. So do you want to kind of explain what endometriosis is and kind of how you're getting on?
Yeah, so it is, correct me if I'm wrong, you're maybe more
I'm on it, I'm
of an
ready.
expert than me, but it's basically when the kind of lining of your womb grows in other places and it causes a lot of pain, as I'm sure you're aware of, all through kind of like your cycle, so kind of around when you're having your period, and if you're having a heavy period, it can be a lot worse, the kind of pain that you're getting as well. So it's a really, really hard thing to diagnose as well. A lot of people wait many, many years. I went through a lot back and forth when I was 17, and I was going through so many like urine tests, kidney, everything like that. I was literally in and out of the hospital for years trying to find out what it was. That was a kind of last option for me because I wasn't getting anywhere. And the man kind of spoke to me and he says, this is the only thing that I think it could be is endometriosis. But for me to find that out, I'm going to need to perform an operation called a laparoscopy. So I had that operation, they found it. And they basically kind of lasered out all the parts that I did have. And from that, I had a Mirena coil fitted to really help kind of control my periods, to make them a lot lighter. And that actually really, really helped me. I'm on my second coil now. I don't really get as many heavy periods anymore. And I think that does really, really help the growth of that coming back. Yeah. But in the past, say like 6-7 months or so, the pain has came back a lot, kind of shooting pains here and there. It's actually not as bad as it was before in the start, which is lucky. But I'm now kind of considering the next operation, and what I have been doing now is kind of creating a bit of a tracker. So I'm writing down every time I am having the pain, and it does seem to be monthly around my period, which makes sense for what it is. So
totally. It's really interesting to hear your experience, because it is quite different from mine, and I think that's obviously the case with everything. Everyone's unique, but it's such a perverse thing to say you're really fortunate to have an operation at 17, because that's no kid going through everything a 17-year-old's going through wants to experience that. But I think that the reason why endometriosis ends up getting so bad, I mean, I was 10 years for a diagnosis. The average in the UK is 8.5 years.
Wow.
And this affects
10 years.
Mm-hmm. This affects 1 in 10 people assigned female at birth. So that's a heck of a lot of people. And for it still to hear that in that conversation with a GP, women's like gynecological health is still a last resort.
Yeah.
They'd rather try everything else. Where do you think that comes from? Bit of a leading question.
It's hard as well, because it's like exploring so many different things. Like when I was trying to figure out what it was, there was so much related to kidney and urine health and everything like that before even considering it being endometriosis. And I'm thinking, well, if it is such a common thing, why are they not putting that first now when they know the symptoms and they know like all the signs to look for? I think it really should be something they're putting first, especially in young women when they know how much it can affect people. I honestly don't know why it is taking them so long right now. It's awful.
I'm honestly I'm so pleased that you managed to have that diagnosis, because it sounds daft to a certain extent that a label helps that much. But I don't know, Kirsten, if you've got this same experience because sometimes we say, oh, we label everything. Yeah. I tell you what, that gynecologist telling me I think it's endometriosis opened so many doors for me to access the support that I needed. Exactly. And even if it hadn't been endometriosis, at least I would know. And it was I don't know if you had this same feeling, but it was a real sense of like,
you know exactly what's wrong. That was like me the second time round as well. My pain was really, really different. So First time round, before I had my operation, a lot of the pain was in my back. So I think it was
Right.
like the endometriosis was like, kind of like behind my bowel and things like that. So this time it's really, really targeted to kind of like my right ovary, and I convinced myself, I was like, this feels different to what it did before. And I was like, maybe I'm having an ectopic pregnancy, maybe I've got cysts in my ovaries, like overthinking so many different things. But there is some kind of strange peace in knowing that there is that again, because that's what I was worried about, like me having something else on top of that. But after kind of further scans and things have confirmed that they think that that is the endometriosis back, and
now you've
unfortunately
just
it's
gotta-
just something that's recurring, and it's very, very hard to manage.
The thing, I had the coil fitted in that moment as well. You tracking that's probably the best bit of advice you could give someone going through this right now, because you need to, and this is bananas, I think it's an issue with women's health, full stop. You need to document that.
Yeah.
You need to bring the receipts. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, if you can then go to a doctor and say, this is when I'm having it, here's X, Y, Z, the kind of, the proof. It's like, it makes it easier for them if they know that it is, say, every month you're getting that. That's 100% related to your period and your cycle. So, yeah, definitely, if you are having any pains, document it. I've just got little notes in my phone, and I just write down the date, how long it lasts for, and like where I feel the pain, so that I can kind of find the pattern in it, if you get me.
Totally. And then you can go, don't ignore me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because so much of it is, oh, sweetheart, take a paracetamol.
Oh, yes.
That won't cut it.
No.
Because at 2:00 in the morning, I will be in A&E, and I will need morphine, and I will be adding to those wait times. Do you know? No, but that's the kind of worst case scenario in that moment. But realistically, if you ignore someone suffering for that long, it's only ever going to get worse.
Exactly. No, exactly.
Yeah.
And where are you at with it just now?
I had my second surgery in June.
June, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And how did that go?
Good. Yeah.
Good.
So
You
feeling
feel much better.
Yeah. It was
Good.
It was bleak. I've done artificial menopause and all sorts, though.
Have
It's
you?
been a
Wow.
wild ride.
And is there like, sorry, I'm not as clued up on this as you two. Is there like different levels of endometriosis, like
Yeah.
different stages type thing, or?
But, you know, the thing about that is the stages don't necessarily correlate with the levels of pain. Because as Amy said, when she was 17, she felt the pain back here. Now it's here. You know, if it grows on a different spot, it can cause a different
Different
you know,
level of
even if
pain.
it's the tiniest little speck and they go in, oh, that was easy, work that out. That could cripple you completely.
Yeah, but then someone could have loads everywhere but actually not feel any pain. It's weird how it works.
It's awful.
It's awful. And do
it's a
you have
shame.
coil now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank goodness I was knocked out when they put it in.
Yes, me too.
So that was great.
No, I actually had to get mine changed recently. It was not a nice experience, but I always say to people like asking me about the coil, I'm like, for 5 years, that kind of few minutes is worth it.
Yeah. It really turned things around for me as well. It was really good. And it really, I feel a bit more zen as well. It sort of balanced me out.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you, extra hormones or whatever it did. But yeah, all these things, girls, right, going into a doctor and saying, I deserve to be listened to, what I'm experiencing, you know, demands a response from somebody and please help me, is a really vulnerable position to put yourself in. And you've both been through that recently. What was the impact on your mental health kind of before and after that first meeting where someone took your pain seriously?
I feel like I work myself up every time I go to the doctor, because I'm like, when I go to my doctor, I don't even know which doctor I'm going to get if I phone up in the morning. And then I feel like, sometimes I go and I feel like they think I'm lying, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, this is how I'm feeling, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like you build yourself and get so worried about going to the doctors, and then after it, if they can help you, you feel just so much better. So I think that's definitely a step, like not to work yourself up about going to the doctors, because they are there to help you.
Yeah, I know it's like that way. You sometimes think you're just a pest and you're annoying because there's so many other people out there that want the appointments, and it's like...
And there's probably so many people out there worse than you, so you feel like, oh, like when I was going for my anxiety, I was like, is this, like, am I wasting other people's time? Do you know what I mean? You just overthink it all that way.
But everybody's experience is relative to them. And realistically, for both of you in that moment, think about how much of an impact these both individual problems were having on your life.
Yeah.
And if you had continued to ignore that, where would you be now?
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
It's definitely the best step to do, is like talk and go and speak to someone 100%.
Yeah. And I did actually see something the other day that said, you know, you're officially an adult when your mum doesn't book your doctor's appointments for you.
I know what happened to do all that.
So true. Although my mum texts me as soon as I'm out, like, how did it go? What happened?
Of course.
I'm like, so I won't lose that part.
Yeah.
You get the debrief,
Yes.
but you did it yourself.
Yeah.
Well done. We should really get like a little gold star or
I
something.
know,
Yeah.
just one little simple sticker would be nice.
I'd like a lollipop and a sticker. Thank you very much. But both of these issues obviously are, you know, intrinsically linked to mental health, mental well-being, because we're talking about hormones, we're talking about feelings, and, you know, it's obviously connected. What would you say to other people, Amy, who maybe think that they've got something going on gynecologically or their periods are really painful when it comes to their mental health? Do you have any advice for kind of believing in yourself and fighting that good fight?
Yeah, I would also say speak to people about it. I think there's this kind of fear of it being about your lady parts and being related to periods, and people don't like to speak about that kind of thing. Like, you know what some people can be like? I was like that as well, thinking, oh, I don't want to speak to even my dad about things down there.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a strange thing to talk about, but I think so many people that you don't even realise might be going through the exact same thing. Like, in the office last year when we were filming and I was getting this pain back again, there was 10 of us in the office at the time. There was 3 of us going through it. So 2 of the other girls in the office have actually both been for laparoscopies as well. So it's known that there's 3 of us in 10 in that office all going through the exact same thing. If one person doesn't mention it at the start, then you could be sitting in silence and not understanding it. And one of the girls in the office as well, like, she'll maybe say to me, oh, I'm having like really bad pain, do you mind if I go home? And it's me understanding that as her boss and knowing I know exactly what you're going through, and of course take the time off. Or sometimes she'll have like a hot water bottle, or there's specific painkillers I'll recommend her to take and things like that. So it's like, don't be scared to let people know what you're going through, because they might have similar experiences and you can relate and be really put at ease from that.
So, please be my boss. But it's so crucial. And I think as well with you, Kirsten, do you have a new kind of understanding of, you know, say if someone was really struggling with their mental health one day at work, you would totally get it more now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. Like, see, to be honest, when I was at school and stuff like this, it wasn't a topic then. It wasn't really discussed. Like, even when we were at uni and stuff like that, it was never really brought up. So I feel like from me having it myself, I can totally relate with the girls now. And I feel like, yeah, there is times they get anxious or stuff, and we're always like, do you want to talk? Do you want to go a wee walk outside? Like, especially the girls in our office are quite young, so they're going through a lot of highs and lows.
Yeah.
In life just now, you know, boys, moving out, all those kind of things. So
Boys are a big topic in the office.
So yeah, I feel like, because I always just say to them, just talk it out. Like, I'm always like, are you okay? Like, text them after work, like, are you sure you're all right? Because it is the worst thing to bottle things up, and I've learned that firsthand. So trying to instill that into them.
And you've also become a lot more motherly.
Yeah, I mother them all. I'm a big mum in the office now.
Just constantly terrified about what everyone's going to do. You're like, guys, everyone sit down so I keep an eye on you.
Get those doors locked.
Oh, no, but they are. And you guys have created such a gorgeous environment for all your girls. It's beautiful. Amy, you were really candid in the episodes as well, talking about like what endometriosis could mean for you in the future in terms of, you know, fertility preserving treatment and things like that as well, which again is something that is very, very close to my experience. Was that something that played on you mentally?
Yeah, 100%. I think it was thinking something for me right now is the timing of this operation, because it's like, do I get it now to ensure that it doesn't affect anything in the future? But then I was actually speaking to Laura, the producer of the show, about it, who's been through a similar thing, and she's kind of encouraging me to wait and have the second laparoscopy right before I want to have kids. So it's kind of sweeping it all out. But then it's the fear of, are you waiting? Are you making that worse by waiting a few years, or do you get it now? So I'm kind of in that situation where, do I get it now to clear it out? But then what happens if it grows back? You know how quickly it can grow back, and it's putting yourself through so many operations. How good is that for you? I don't know. I'm kind of weighing
even
it up
just
just
the mental kind of toll that takes, because realistically this is major surgery we're talking about. Like, they go keyhole, but it's major surgery. Like,
exactly. And I remember the first time that I had it, I was like crippled over in bed for days, and then it's like, how often is okay to put yourself through that? Do I have that now? And then in a few years' time I decide, right, I do want to try for kids, and hopefully I do have luck with that, but then maybe need to have another operation. So I don't know.
The questions are endless and there's never going to be a right answer, but I think it's one of those ones where you got to assess on the day-to-day, like if you're in pain and you're not functioning, like you are the priority, right?
No, I know, exactly. I do need to really, really consider it, and
we need to go for a wine, basically.
Yeah. We need to go for a wine.
We need to plan our well, we can have appointments together. How cute. That would be so nice.
I know, exactly. How long were you between your first and your second one?
First one I was 22 and second one there I was 27.
So 5 years. Yeah. So mine's has been...
the same age.
Yeah. So I was 17 and then maybe 27, so a 10-year gap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I just knew if there was a lot of it there. It's hard because it's like I've been so many scans and stuff and it doesn't show in the scans unless you're actually going in for keyhole. So it's like you wish you just knew how much of it was there, but then I guess the number of it doesn't really matter because it's the pain that's how it can affect you. It's a very difficult one.
Go on, Mother Hen over there. What's your advice?
I think if she's in pain, she needs to get it sorted ASAP. Like, I think if you're hurting, like, are you hurting just now with it?
No.
If the pain comes back up, I think you just need to go and get it sorted because, like, your health is your priority, not work. Like, you need to put your health first. And
well, my pain will probably come back next week when I'm due my period. So
so I
that'll
think
be on the tracker.
But how good to have the girls around you though who get it in the office and can,
100%.
you know, you guys can kind of all. But yeah, you're so right. When we were at school and university, and I think you guys are the same. I always kind of prided my group of friends on being like, we're so open. Like there is nothing we won't discuss. Yeah. Right, sure. Well, you've got your period. Why have you got a tampon up your jumper, hiding it? So when you leave the classroom, you know, you are feeling really, really low and you don't want to open up about it. You know, how honest is that reflection of what my experience was? I'm like, oh yeah, we talk about everything, do we?
No.
You know, do you guys still think that that's a prominent issue? Obviously, now when you open up about your experience, are you still kind of like, how's this going to be met? You know?
Yeah. I feel like you're quite an open person though.
Yeah.
Like you're a really open book.
Yeah.
So I think like when you're talking to people in the office and stuff about it, I think it probably does help. The other girls actually went for an operation, didn't she?
Yeah.
During, was it before filming or something?
Yeah, right before filming.
Yeah, and then she had to take some time off and stuff as well. So I think that's great that they can all talk openly.
Yeah.
You just need someone to stand on the soapbox and say it's all right.
Yeah,
I know.
And then everyone will, will follow.
Like that was one of the things I felt when I was talking about anxiety. Like I feel like nobody really spoke about that. Like you said, I didn't know it was a thing, postnatal anxiety.
No.
I just thought it was depression, you're depressed, but I didn't know there was this other kind of feeling that you would get. So it's because it's not really spoke about enough.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for being so vocal about your experience, because there is no doubt in my mind that you've both helped so many more people than, we would be able to fit in this room and talk to. So
Thank you.
You guys are flourishing. Like everyone has heard of Aquarius Creative in Scotland now. You're on the map.
Don't embarrass us.
You're most certainly on the map in Uddingston, because I've gone past the office and it's gorgeous, and it really, the success story is something. We're going to talk about that kind of period that we all went through where the world kind of stopped for a second and things were pretty bleak. Is that not when you decided to open an office?
So the world stopped for a second 2 weeks after we handed our notices into our very stable jobs. So
we had a good job. Like we worked hard. We worked there for years. Like got promoted a few times and stuff. So then that happened. We were like, oh my God, it couldn't be worse timing. Could not have been worse timing.
So we had our launch party. It was like the 28th of February 2020, and we were like, oh, partying, like can't wait for what's to come. And then 2 weeks later, we literally didn't have a job to go to. It was just me and Kirsten doing Aquarius, and then 2 weeks later the world shut down.
I know, and then all of us, obviously, like all our employees from our old job, they were all just living life in lockdown,
on furlough.
We couldn't get a penny or no like help from the government or anything because we'd left our job, and then our business was too new. So
that's terrifying.
I know, the worst timing ever.
It was, but we look back and think, actually, was it the worst timing ever? Because we came up with a few other different things. So it was like, we did think we were going to start off doing loads of events and it's all going to be fun and this and that. And we had bongos, bingo as a client, and we're like, right, we're going to be jumping about the tables every weekend, sending influencers in. But during lockdown, a lot of businesses obviously closed their doors and kind of flipped it online. So they needed social media to really, really help them stand out and change their strategy to make it more online focused and kind of sending at-home kits and things like that. So,
remember.
I know. That time, see when you look back.
Strangest time
wild.
ever. Like, me and my friends used to meet in the garden and sit so far away from each other and bring cakes. And we're mad.
Honestly, I remember
Zoom
sitting there going,
quizzes.
oh yes, this is how you create the Hard Rock Cafe experience in your house.
Like, what? How? See when you
With
look
my guitar on the wall.
There we go. It's actually like, when you think back, like, what were we all doing, eh?
It was the
Surreal.
strangest thing ever.
Taking a mirror out to the garden and taking a mirror selfie.
And it was like,
Nah, I
everyone
can't.
was posing with like they had their cushions wrapped around them with a belt.
Oh, yes,
to
no,
Amy, now
pose
don't.
and-
That's our reality. That's a hot water bottle, and I know it's going to be strapped to you later.
That's true. That's
What would we
true.
tell our children when they're older? They'd be like, you are crazy.
It's the straight. We used to go outside and clap. Like,
Pots and pans, everyone.
no.
But
so no,
Yeah.
at that time, like, we created something called a social media Bible. So it was kind of tailored to small businesses that maybe couldn't afford to pay for a social media manager every month. But it was a kind of one-off Bible that taught them everything they needed to know, and it was a bit personal to them. And then that also included like an online Zoom consultation with us to kind of go through it. So that really helped a lot of small businesses out there, and that kind of put us on the map a little bit when we were starting off to get in with a lot of small businesses when they didn't really have anything else to do or think about. It wasn't normal world, so everyone's eyes were on Instagram and everything. So to be honest, although lockdown was an awful thing and we wouldn't wish that upon anyone again, it did kind of make us rethink, and we made the most out of
the clue's in the name, though, guys, isn't it? Now, I'm not going to delve into horoscopes because I'll be here for hours. But creative, right? You guys always seem to flourish in these environments where a lot of people would just go, nah, like too much. Like, I'll go get a 9 to 5. I can't do it. And when I chatted to you last time, I remember, Amy, you telling a story, and you're probably sick the back teeth of telling this story, of when you were going for an internship or a job. And the deadline kind of came, and you're like, right, okay, I'm in New York, I've got to make some content. Tell this story, because I think this is just a really nice example of the way you guys spin something that could end up being the end for someone and making something amazing.
Yep. So at the time it was Ultimo, so it was Michelle Moan's lingerie brand. So I actually got a design internship. So I was doing fashion business at uni, and I thought, right, okay, this is so cool. I'm going to go out, I'm going to design bras. This is cool. I hated the design side. I don't know why I thought that I was going to like that at all, but I kept kind of going nosy and into marketing, saying, what can I do to help you? At this point, social media just became a thing. Everyone had just downloaded Instagram, but they didn't really know what they were doing it for. They were just filtering the same picture and posting that
It was still brown. It still looked like a little...
Valencia, I remember that.
Yeah. Had the borders around it and everything. So Instagram was becoming a thing at the time. So at the time they had a big fancy PR agency in London who they had doing their social media. So it was a really kind of sexy, delicate lingerie brand, and this PR agency were posting pictures of big greasy burgers, and I was like, where is the fit
I
for
thought you were
that?
going to say something else then.
No,
I was really concerned. Big greasy what now?
maybe didn't start that sentence off too well. It was like big burgers and chips, and I was like, why is this like matching anything to do with what this brand is? So I was like, listen, I really, really want to be doing this social media. Like, I've got so many ideas. I think I would be great at it. At the time I was a blogger, and I had like a blog, as in like a website, and I would like write articles about my outfits and things. It wasn't an influencer back then where you post on Instagram. So I was like, I think I could be really good at this. And they says, well, we'll give you a 5-day trial. Take the page and do what you want with it. And I was thinking, oh no, I'm going to New York tomorrow. And what am I going to do? Like, I can't just say, oh no, I'm going on holiday. Like, that's not going to look great. So I requested 5 sets from the warehouse. 5 totally different looks, and then on the flight I created like a bit of a personality for each of them. So say one was like maybe a bit darker, it was like more kind of sexy, so that was in like a nice Times Square restaurant with like a glass of wine. So that was Orla, and there was a personality about her.
Love it.
Then there was one that was pink, so I took her to Carrie Bradshaw's apartment outside the steps. So I created like a little story about her there. There was one that was like bright orange, so I gave her like a bold name, and her personality was like going about Times Square. So I had two of my uni friends like standing either side of Times Square holding the bra, so you could get like the big adverts and all the billboards and stuff in Times Square. So it was like 5 different personalities, one each day while I was away. So it was like posts and stories kind of telling the journey of the bras and who's who and where. So sounds ridiculous. I got that into the characters of the bras in New York, but
and also it gave you a really fun route for your holiday. You're like, I'm gonna go to Carrie Bradshaw's house. What shame.
So it looked really cool, and actually it worked in my favour that I was in that set and I got to be creative with it. Because I think if I had maybe said, "Oh no, I can't do that," they'd have been like, "Oh well, like, you might lose your chance." It was very fast paced, that business at that time, and I don't think they would have taken no for an answer. So I was like, right, I just need to make this work. So I did that, and then I got home and they were really impressed, and then they offered me the job as social media assistant. So
smashed it.
That's good fun.
You guys coming together and sharing that like incredible initiative, right, and just making things happen, and what you have made happen over a very short, realistically, time period with Aquarius is just wild.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's wild when it's your own business and you look back at it, because you don't realise where you are until you actually take a step back.
Yeah.
I think we're bad for that as well. Like, we're always like, as soon as one thing's finished, we're like, right, okay, what's the next thing? We don't like, we need to spend more time actually like reflecting and thinking, God, that was cool. Like, well done us. But we're guilty of just moving on to the next thing and not reflecting on it.
What do you think that's come through Aquarius and now the TV show and everything makes you both individually most proud?
I would say like the community that we've built with the girls, like it's so nice. Like we're all friends and hang about with each other. We go to their housewarmings, or we
break down in tears when one's in labour.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I just think it's so nice, like in this kind of industry and in this environment, to have such a close pack of girls like surrounding you and always like helping and bigging each other up. Like, for example, we've got Megan's podcast live on Friday, and everyone's just chipping in, like helping. And I think like it's so nice to have a strong community of girls around you.
Oh, you picked them well. They're all lovely.
Yeah, we did. I think it's a Scottish banter, isn't it? They're all good.
Yeah, it's like the one big family and everyone is so close. Like, people sometimes say, is there jealousy? And there's nothing like that in Aquarius.
No.
Like, there's not one bit of jealousy between any of the girls. Everyone's so supportive with each other and like so happy to see each other like do so well. So that's really, really nice.
Another good point as well is like we get to work with such big brands, which is really exciting. Like, we're planning a big party for summer. Just had a meeting about this before we came here, and like I think seeing it all come together at the end, it's such an achievement. Like, the stress of planning an event can be intense, so when it all comes together, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have a message that you would send back in time to you guys that day when the world stopped and you thought, oh my goodness, what would you say?
Just keep going. Like,
Yeah.
I think I would look back, I would be in shock of how well we've done. Like, see if someone said to me, oh, you're going to have a TV show, you're going to have all these girls on your book, flying to all these different countries. Like, I would be like, no way, like not us. Even when I look back at school, I remember I said to my school, what is it called when you
guidance
went to...
teacher?
Not guidance, it was like a career... Remember you had the
Career advisor, yeah.
Career advisor. I said, I'm going to do fashion market. And she went, no, don't do that.
I got the exact
She
same,
was like, no, that's not... And I was like... well, I'm doing it. Like, I picked it up. That's the route I'm going down. And I can remember it vividly, her sitting there and be like, I don't think that's the right choice. And what job are you going to get from that? And I'm like, I hope she watched the show.
I hope she watched the show.
No, exactly.
Hopefully.
It's just like, people just, it's new, right?
Yeah,
people just didn't get it.
Yeah. No, I understand on the same hand.
No, totally. But it's that, imagine you had listened.
Exactly.
Your life would have taken a whole different path.
I know.
And then maybe one day you'd have taken a bra to New York.
Yeah.
I know, that's another thing I'd probably say is like, don't worry if things don't go to plan, and like adapt in that situation at that point in time. Like, don't think, oh God, that's that's not what I thought would work out. Like, that's not what I thought would happen. But even the way that me and Kirsten met, even the way that Kirsten, our fiance, met, like, everything happens for a reason. And if you're at a certain point at a certain time and you think it doesn't go to plan, just adapt and enjoy it along the way.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
No, honestly, always a pleasure. So thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who's tuned in for listening. Remember, if you need help or support with how you're feeling, Young Scot has tons of information available for you at young.scot/I, that's AYE, feel. If people want to follow both of you on your journey, what's the best way to do it? Instagram?
Instagram, yeah.
At Aquarius Creative _ and you'll find both of us from that as well.
And TikTok. We're loving TikTok right now.
Love it. The girls are thriving on TikTok. And William. Okay.
Oh, we love William. Sorry, I keep saying Geralt. Like he's a star. We love him.
And don't forget, if you're under 26, then make sure you get your free Young Scot National Entitlement Card with thousands of discounts, subsidised public transport and a whole lot more. You can also claim 100 Young Scot reward points for listening to this episode using the code Aquarius. Naturally. So that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of This Is How I Feel. And if you have, then please rate, review and subscribe to us, which means you'll get instant access as soon as the next episode drops. Looking forward to next time already. See you then.